Good evening and welcome to Focus On. I am Sean Wendt, and with us today is Mr. Ray Foltz, Chairman of the Catholic Social Services, and Mr. Pat Cogley, the Director of the Catholic Social Services. Pleasure to have you on the show today.
Glad to be here.
All right.
Happy.
So, Ray, what kind of business is the Catholic Social Services?
We're a social service agency providing quality counseling to the clients that we represent.
All right, and Pat, what's the mission of the Catholic Social Services?
The mission of Catholic Social Services is to preserve, strengthen, and protect families and individuals within living St. Clair County. We want to make sure that we provide a good quality commitment to our community. We want to make sure that Catholic Social Services, which Ray just referred to, is there to protect and help instill better quality of life for our community.
All right, and Pat, could you give us a brief history of the agency and the kind of quality programs and services that the Catholic Social Services provide?
Be glad to.
All right.
We've been in business for 60 years, and Catholic Social Services started out as a traditional social work agency whereby we provided adoption, maybe some foster care, and some marital counseling and individual counseling. And over the years, we've grown to provide numerous sorts of services that reflect our community needs. We provide substance abuse services, particular services to the community for aging, and for special needs for kids, like for ADHD, those kind of programs, as well as play therapy and a variety of services. We used to do other things besides that. We used to do clothing drives and food drives, but other agencies in our community do those things. We're really a professional social work agency, and that's what we deal with, is those kind of social issues that families and individuals have.
All right. Now, Ray, do you have to be Catholic to be involved in Catholic Social Services?
You don't have to be Catholic to be involved. A lot of our board members are not Catholic. Most of our clients are not Catholic. I myself am not Catholic. But we need people in the community that are involved and want to help their community.
All right. And do you know how the agency is funded, and who?
Well, we get our funding from several sources. Pay for service. When the clients come in, they pay for their service. Insurance companies on the reimbursement part. We don't turn anybody away based on their ability to pay. So if a person comes in and can pay a portion, then we look for sources of funding to help pay the rest of that. And we do that by going to United Way, by doing our own fundraising, and trying to backfill those payments.
Let me add to that that it's been a decision of the board of directors years ago not to put all our eggs in one basket. There are some agencies throughout the state and throughout the country that may be 70–80% funded by United Way. We have a variety of funding sources, which means that as times get tough or difficult in one area, you may be able to do better in another area. In the area of substance use, for example, there's a tax on every bottle of alcohol that is purchased, and we get a proration based on our population on that. We use those funds to help subsidize substance abuse clients. The same way with United Way, we do the same thing. But what we found recently with the economic area that we are in, climate of state of Michigan, and our own geographical area as far as St. Clair County, our needs are really increasing, and as a result of that, our increases for business have gone up 30, 40, 50%, and everybody wants good quality service, and so of course they want to come to Catholic Social Services.
All right, and so how are the fees assessed?
Well, we just alluded to a little bit about that. When I first got there, I didn't understand this, that if, for example, I'm just using some rough numbers here, but let's say it cost $100 for a unit of service for an hour of session. And we assess somebody a sliding fee scale that the person has maybe 3 or 4 children, is married, and the bills are what they are, we might only charge them $20. And so I'm trying to think, how can you keep business open if you're only charging somebody $20? Well, what Ray already alluded to is we're taking money from other funds and hopefully we can mix and match. And a lot of times we may have 4 or 5 different funding sources for that same hour of service that we, either through third-party pay or for, there's also a fee the individual pays as well also that they can pay. So it's those kind of things that we use to help minimize the burden for the individual.
All right. And Ray, how do you promote quality in your programs to your services?
Well, all of our employees are licensed, and they go through, and the agency itself goes through an accreditation program. Pat's more familiar with the details of that accreditation, but it helps keep our employees at the top of their profession so we can give quality service to the clients.
Let me add to that in that the board of directors are all volunteer. They are the group that actually governs our board, our agency. They are the backbone, if you will, the conscience of our community, and they bring to the table issues from the community that they hear. So we have quality at that level, and then what the accreditation does is there are certain national standards that in order to meet those standards, you have to prove that you do or adhere to those standards. They go through our personnel files, they go through our policies, procedures, they go through our board minutes, they go through files that we have to make sure that what we say we do to meet those standards we are doing. So they actually go through and double check us on everything. When Ray mentioned we're licensed, the state of Michigan also does the same thing. They have certain programmatic requirements that will go into and make sure that we're funding or making sure that our files or our case records or our compliances are all part of that. Same way with currently our strategic plan is being reviewed by the board of directors, and we're in the process of updating that. One of the things that our accreditation wants us to make sure is that we're in touch with the community. And the accreditation is done by the Council on Accreditation for Families and Children out of New York. They're an independent body and they do that. We're also independently audited every year. So when we say that we're providing quality and we're up to date with current things, we can prove that. We can have no fear of someone going through and looking at our records because they're audited independently. They're open to the public, and it helps. We give a copy of all that audit to all our funders so they know how we're doing as well also. So it really does show that you, the consumer, when you go shopping or looking for somebody that knows what they're doing, have you been in business long? Have you got a good record? Do you provide quality services? And that's what quality means to us, and that's what we try and show and prove to the community, that they're just not getting some fly-by-night organization.
All right. So Ray, how is the agency governed?
It's governed by the board of directors, and we have all volunteer board of directors, and we meet once a month or more often if necessary, once a week. And this year is a busy year for us, so I've been meeting more often with the different committees, but it's all volunteers, and we take people from all over the community.
All right.
Let me add one more thing to that. We've had, for 60 years, we've had people from all over this community, all over St. Clair County, that have served. We've had some people that have served for 15, 20 years. One individual served for 30 years, which is phenomenal. And it shows you that people are committed to believing that they can help other people. And that's what our agency does. It helps people to help themselves. There isn't anybody that doesn't go through life that doesn't have issues and problems. And the people on our board are very cognizant of that. They support the organization. They roll up their sleeves. They get involved in a variety of not just funding issues, but we look at policies, procedures. There's a committee specifically designed to review that. Ray is on our finance committee. They want to make sure that we're up to date with all our billing and all our expenses, and that we're meeting our what we have to do for that, so that we're not in trouble. And but all these people are volunteers. They give a lot of time to this to ensure that what the mission of the agency and what we're trying to do is fulfilled, and that's really their obligation.
All right. So Ray, I understand that pretty soon you're going to be celebrating the 60th anniversary of the Catholic Social Services. So could you tell us some of the events that you're planning for it?
Well, this year is our 60th year, and we're starting off with a bowling fundraiser, which we do annually. That'll be at the Bowladrome. And then in the spring, we're going to kick off a program called Friends of Catholic Social Services. We're going to try to identify and have a membership of Friends of Catholic Social Services. And then in December, the first Sunday in December, we're having a dinner. And at that dinner, we're going to have the Cardinal is going to be up here, and he's going to be our guest speaker. And hopefully that'll be a successul dinner. It's going to be held down in Marine City at the
Knights of Columbus.
Knights of Columbus.
Speaking of the fundraising, the bowling fundraiser, you're all invited to. It's March 3rd at the Zebra Bar Bowling Alley, and it's $25 a person. You can just call me at Catholic Social Services, 987-9100. And also this year we're going to add a little party after that. We're going to have an afterglow party at the Port Huron Yacht Club. And the thought was, again, to build friends and relationships. You know, we're going to have some production about the quality of services we provide, and we're going to have some staff members there to talk about the programs and services. And so that's how you build those friends and relationships. And when you think of 60 years, we've touched a lot of people's lives in our existence.
Now, Pat, why would someone come to the Catholic Social Services for service?
Well, I think we alluded to some of those things, and I think the primary thing is that they know they're going to get quality service. They know that we've been around. They know our reputation. A lot of times we get people referred to us, or people call us because they have somebody else that came to our agency. It's like if you went to a restaurant and you had a good meal, or if you went to a movie and you saw a good movie, and someone said, "What do you think about it?" And you say, "Oh, this is a great place to go. You got to go see it," or else "This is a great movie. Go see it." We have the same satisfied clients, and so they're our best ambassadors. Our staff are our great ambassadors. People know staff by their abilities and what particular services they've done in the past, and so we get people calling for particular individuals as well. But the key to all this is the quality, the fact that they know that our staff are licensed, they're current in their education and training, and the fact that we've been around, we're not going anyplace, and they know that regardless of who they are, how much they make, where they live, we're going to help them. And not only that, but we also do a good job of referring if they need other things like clothing or food or other arrangements that we can help refer to other organizations as well.
All right, so how long have the two of you been involved with Catholic Social Services?
I've been involved just a little over a year.
Ray's kind of a rookie on this, but he took over. Our chairman of the board was John Monahan, of course, you know, was elected judge, and we needed a new board chairman, and Ray volunteered to do that for us, so we're happy to have Ray, and he's got plenty of leadership skills, and this will be an interesting year with the 60th. There's a lot of things to do. I personally have been here about 14 years, and it's just great to know that you've helped a lot of people. As I said earlier, there isn't anybody that doesn't go through life without issues and problems, and every once in a while you need someone to help you, and that's what we're there to do, is help pick up the pieces and help people live quality, respectful lives.
All right. Now, everyone loves a good success story, so would you have any success stories that you have to share with us?
Well, I don't have any particulars, but let me add a couple quick thoughts off the top of my hat. We've been an adoption agency for almost all these years, and you think of somebody that can't have children and would love to have children. I literally have run into people that I knew that I didn't know had, just knew they had children, that said to me, "Thanks an awful lot. I didn't know if you knew this, but Catholic Social Services is where I adopted my children from." So we've really helped a lot of families become whole. As far as other testimonials, we get those all the time from clients. We do a post-discharge survey where we ask clients what do they think, and most everybody has been pleased by the service they've received and the quality of the service that they've received. I personally run groups for domestic violence, and a couple weeks ago we had one guy leave, and he was almost in tears when he thanked me for all the work that had been done and how much he had learned and how much he had grown within his own life. I mean, he was arrested, charged for domestic violence, and was dealing with those issues between his family. And this is a program that we run there that shows men how to be men, not to be aggressive, and how to understand and identify problems and to deal with those things. And this guy was just... Matter of fact, he gave me a bear hug when we walked out of there, and because he was, so thankful of the fact that he had learned something. And our hope is that he takes that and puts that into everyday use. And if he does, then we've been successful.
All right, well, I guess that's all the questions I have for you today. So I'd like to wish you guys luck in your future, and I hope that your 60th anniversary with Catholic Social Services will go very well. So it's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Well, thank you.
All right.
It's been a pleasure being here.
Okay. So that's all the time we have for today. So thanks. Good night, and thanks for watching.